Sometimes people will ask me, are fresh expressions scriptural? And there are many places that we could go in the narrative of the Bible to help us both understand the practice and the principles that undergird fresh expressions of church. But one of my favorite is in Acts chapter 16. If you remember in that passage, that it's the story of Paul and his journey to Macedonia. And he's trying to move to a couple other places, and everywhere he goes, the door is closed until finally, in a dream, in a vision, he sees a man of Macedonia telling him, "Come over and help us." And so when Paul gets to Philippi, which is at the epicenter of the Macedonian region, he finds himself in a place where there's no synagogue. So there's no place to go to preach like he's used to preaching. There's no equivalent of the church. And so instead of his normal pattern of ministry, which would be to go to a synagogue, he goes out into along by the river. And he goes to a place of prayer where he's expecting to find people who are perhaps spiritually curious, but not part of the institutional faith. And that's where he meets a young woman named Lydia. And there is a fresh expression of church birth through Lydia's conversion that takes place in her house and then through her household. So the story as it goes on, we know that Paul ends up, because he cast out a demon, he ends up in jail. And it's at a place of work next, through the life of the jailer and the people that are working in the jail, that the jailer comes to Christ, and another fresh expression of church is birthed out of the jailer's life and among his household and among his network, his oikos, his people. And so in this story, what we find is not only that was the kind of traditional path of ministry closed, but we see the gospel taking root in public, in a workplace, and in homes. And it is one of the most fruitful chapters for Paul's ministry in the narrative of the story of Acts.